Vanakkam, Namaste, and hello everybody. In the chat box, why don't we say hello, mention your city and the country. Hi, my name is PM Chandrasekhar. Call me PMC. I am your host for the evening. With me is Sriram. Call him Sri. He'll be the co-host. Both of us will walk you through this evening. I welcome all our delegates, office bearers of ICF and ICF India chapter, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this pre-conclave inaugural ceremony today. You know something? People from all walks of life are here. Coaches, executives, business owners, professionals, public service, army, homemakers, and what have you. People are joining from all parts of the world, from 20 countries other than India. We are indeed elated with such a response to this conclave. Stay with Sri and I for 2 hours of exciting extravaganza filled with food for thought as well as enjoyable music for your listening pleasure. Friends, we begin this evening program with the traditional invocation to the supreme power and to our great nation. Now, let me introduce the young Kota sisters, Purva Dhanashri and Pavni. Purva Dhanashri has completed her bachelor's in journalism. She has won various awards for vocal and violin from many top institutions. Pavni is in 9th grade. She has won many awards from inter-school competitions as well as from Department of Culture, Tamil Nadu. I now invite Purva and Pavni to render the invocation. Purva.
Thank you, sir. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam Yajashitalam Sasya Syamalam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram Shubhra Jyotsnam Pulakitayamini Pullakusumita Dhrumadana Shobhini Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini Sukhadam Varadam Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram Vande Mataram.
Ladies and gentlemen, ICF India Conclave 2021 features the unique coming together of the entire coaching ecosystem. People from all over the world are congregating here for 3 days in this completely virtual global Conclave. At this momentous occasion, it is my pleasure to introduce a distinguished person who is here with us today. And that person is Patricia Matthews, RN, MA, MCC, fondly called Pat by all of us. Pat is dedicated to supporting leaders as they build productive partnerships, teams, and workplaces. She has coached and supported leaders in corporate, government, and nonprofit sectors. Inducted into the ICF Circle of Distinction in 2019, she is the co-author of the recent highly acclaimed book, Professional Coaching Competencies, The Complete Guide, and is a contributing author on becoming a leadership coach. Pat currently serves as the chair of the ICF Global Enterprise Board. In our country, it's customary to light a lamp. We call it Kuttu Vilakku before the commencement of any event. As we are meeting virtually, we shall have a virtual lighting of the lamp. So here goes the lamp.
So it's my pleasure to welcome all of you. It looks like more than 200 people with us, and I am here in New Jersey in the United States, and I'm thrilled to be here. I'll be speaking tomorrow. But whether you're a coach, whether you've had coaching, whether you're curious about coaching and want to know more, whether in your business you're looking for growth, you're looking for personal growth, or you're just interested in coaching, coaching's here to stay. This conclave is for you. I am hugely impressed with the Chennai chapter and all of India in pulling together what they're calling a constellation. And of course, the constellation is a group of stars. And I think you're going to be very lucky to be exposed to a group of stars who are knowledgeable in business and coaching and personal growth in the next 3 days. Congratulations, India Conclave, and I look forward to a very productive 3 days.
Thank you, Pat, for your inspiring message and the wishes. Ladies and gentlemen, I must add here that Pat has not just been our leader, but also our cheerleader. She was here with us to unveil the logo of the conclave on May 18, earlier this year. She has been a constant and continuous source of encouragement to all of us. Pat delivers a session tomorrow, as she just mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, I strongly urge you all to be there and listen to her. Friends, it's time now for the inaugural address of the conclave. To do that, I would like to introduce someone who has been tirelessly working for and leading this initiative. Yes, I am talking about Vijayalakshmi, the conclave chair and the president of ICF Chennai Charter Chapter. Vijayalakshmi is a master coach and a mentor, MCC ICF and MP EMCC, an experienced management consultant and a certified systemic and team coach. With 2,950 hours of coaching experience, her specialties include executive leadership, wellness and conflict coaching, working with individuals, teams, and businesses, and the list goes on. She has a rich background in human resources, law, and is an accredited mediator. Vijayalakshmi is a coaching evangelist and a believer in the power of the in the power of the collective and universal connections. We have been talking so much about the conclave, I can't think of anything else about now. I now invite Vijayalakshmi to deliver her inaugural address. Over to you, Vijay.
Good evening, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon. This is super exciting to be here today in a virtual platform, seamlessly connected in many ways than one with a whole lot of you. Sitting here in one part of the world, I can feel the energy of 1,000 people. That was our last count of registrations as of today. I can feel this energy, very unique, yet very connected. I'm right here in my home, and yet I feel like we're all together in one large physical setting, beautifully connected. I also sense it's a set of shared desires and values that are holding us together today. Progress, growth, and possibly a curiosity and interest in coaching. I'm also aware that I'm in the midst of leaders, experienced coaches, and change makers. So, honestly, as I was sitting the last few days thinking about what is it that I could share in my inaugural address in this large August gathering, I just said, let me keep it simple. Let me talk about things that bring a smile to my face and a spring in my feet. And that include thoughts about growth, thoughts about coaching, and of course, random thoughts, or maybe not so random, about coaching for growth. Trying to connect some dots, peppered with some inspiration from role model coaches, and simply trying to offer that to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, bear with me for the next 15 odd minutes as I talk you through a context setting for this conclave and an invitation to traverse with me. Just give me 1 minute to share my screen. As I said, I'd like to talk about these sweet looking boxes that say coaching growth and coaching for growth. I'll start with coaching because that one feels a lot more home to me. That's my safe space. Coaching, as ICF defines it, is partnering with clients in a thought provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I know there are many coach friends here sitting who've read this definition 100 times. But every time I read this definition, there's something new that strikes me. And today, as I look at this, there are 3 words that stand out for me. Potential. Potential is everything, isn't it? Potential gives you a sense of infiniteness. It's beyond performance. Coaches or people who embark on this coaching journey deeply feel this limitless sense of potential. The second word that stands out here is partnership. When coaches and clients come together, it's not partnership as in just a legal partnership, but it's partnership in the truest sense of the word. This image here is something that really catches my attention as somebody who loves sport. The role of that coach is often underestimated, and yet, being in the background without ever running the race, there is that beautiful sense of interconnected partnership. More importantly, the other P that stands out is coaching is a very powerful process. And with power comes great responsibility. If I just take that a little further, the thoughts that come in my head is coaching a skill? Is it a skill that anyone can embrace? Anyone from a parent to, a management professional to somebody who runs a business? Is coaching a profession that people like me would like to look at ourselves with pride as professionals, trying to adhere to ethics and ethos? And more importantly, is coaching simply a style of being, a style of leading, a style of managing, a style of simply engaging? Which one of these is coaching to you? Or is it all of this? So these are some questions about coaching that run through my head. I'm so privileged to play this clip by Jim Lohr, who is a world-renowned performance psychologist and C-suite coach. Jim was unable to join us at the conclave, but he has left this message that I have heard a couple of times over, and I would love for you to listen to this along with me.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jim Lohr. I'm the co-founder of the Human Performance Institute, which was purchased by Johnson & Johnson, and which today has provided programs for over 400,000 people worldwide. And we came to understand that everything we did at the Institute was basically around coaching. We hired exercise physiologists, nutritionists, performance psychologists, and they all became extraordinary coaches in helping people scale the mountain of life to become the best version of themselves possible and to fulfill their dreams. I've come to have great respect for coaches. Coaches have unbelievable power, whether it's coaching for health, coaching for performance, coaching for growth. When I learned about this conclave and the theme being coaching for growth, I got very excited. I hope this becomes an extraordinary opportunity for you to learn how to become a better coach. A coach is a guide, is a person who is really reaching out, cares for others, is an inspiration for others, and helps others to fulfill their destiny. So my very best wishes to all of you. I'm sure this conference will be extraordinary. And I hope you can give absolutely your best to become the best coach you can ever be. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. When I listen to that, I simply just pick one thing. When he invites coaches to think about our role, it is not just people who are serving professionally as coaches. Everyone in the Institute became a coach. I think every one of us here, irrespective of whether we're professionally a coach or not, can truly apply those questions. The next subject that I want to move to is growth. All of us know growth, don't we? There's nobody in this world who can say that they don't know what growth is, simply because from the time we were born to wherever you are in your life today, you have grown, intentionally or unintentionally. It's a primal phenomenon and instinct. The dictionary simply says it's an increase in size, number, value, or strength. Synonyms include enlargement, expansion, increase, increment, development, maturation. When you look at growth, it can truly be inner growth that happens from the inside out. It can be outer growth that's manifesting outside of us. And it can be collective growth, that all of us together as humanity are collectively growing. As a human species, we are growing. Few questions about growth: the what, the why, and the how. I invite you to think about, what does growth really mean in this post-pandemic world? The pandemic has literally changed the world. So what does growth mean in that context? Do our earlier definitions of growth hold good? A very hard-hitting question. Why is growth sometimes painful? Why do we resist growth? And look at that little kid in that box. I'm sure he's playing the fool, but imagine yourself as an adult sitting in that box. What is lack of growth, or how does it manifest? What does it do to us? I leave you with those questions. Now I'm trying to, as I put together these concepts of coaching and growth, I can sense an intuitive connection, right? Broadly, there seems to be a lot of connecting dots, a lot of parallels. And this is exactly the same feeling we had when 6 months ago, 7 months ago, we were wondering about how these came together. I'd like to bring in a slightly different perspective as to what connects these dots. I think both coaching and growth embrace or should embrace a systemic approach. They really cannot happen in isolation. Coaching and growth both apply to a whole cross section of society. It's true in the context of individuals, teams, organizations, and systemic approach to issues. At this stage, I want to play to you another clip by Professor Peter Hawkins, who is quite a guru in this area of systemic thinking, being coaching, and a professor of leadership, global thought leader, and author. Listen to Peter, and let's try to go back and connect the questions that I had put and raised.
Hello, my name is Professor Peter Hawkins, and I'm sending you greetings from Bath in the UK for your ICF Conclave in India. I hope you have a great conference and you're addressing such an important theme around how coaching be systemic. Something that I wrote about in my book with Eve Turner called Systemic Coaching, Delivering Value Beyond the Individual. You see, we often think we are doing individual coaching, and we're just coaching an individual. But that's never true. Because even if there's just the coach and the coachee in the room, the person who comes from coaching, they bring the team dynamic inside them. They are part of it. They bring their organizational culture inside them. They are part of it. They bring the wider ecology inside of them, but they are part of it. In the air they breathe, the food they eat. So when we're coaching an individual, we're also coaching through the individual, their team dynamic, their organizational culture, and the wider ecology. So we need to listen not just to the individual and their feelings, their desires, but what is the world asking that coachee and you to focus on, so that the coaching can deliver value not just for that person in their development, but for all the stakeholders that person's life and work serves. Their family, their team, the employees who report to them, the customers, the clients, the suppliers, partner organizations, the communities where the organization operates, and really important in our times of ecological crisis and climate crisis, the wider, more than human life. So I hope you have a really deep, broad, and interesting gathering together to come up with new ways that coaching can deliver value beyond the individual, the wider systems that we all depend upon. Blessings on your conference. Greetings. Have a really interesting time, and may your coaching go to new levels of impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Again, while your messages spoke to coaches, I am picking a message very strongly for anybody who's thinking of growth, not just for themselves, but for others. Now is the question. We have growth, we have coaching. We picked on a topic called coaching for growth for this amazing coming together of so many people trying to explore these very, very nuanced subjects. So how do we embody this systemic approach in the way we design, we manifest a conclave? I'd like to talk about 4 things here. Both coaching and growth are multidimensional, like what Peter alluded to. So it's very important to understand these in the conclave, coming in from very different lenses. So which is the reason why we have people bringing in possibly diametrically different perspectives. But it is for us to bring in that multi-layered approach. It was very important for this conclave to have a diversity of voices and perspectives, not just multidimensional, but honor and salute the cultural, geographical, and ideological diversity. Which is why I think the virtual format of this conclave has allowed us, like PMC said, to get in speakers from more than 20 countries. The format allows for us to connect with people from more than 20 countries. Amazing, isn't it? The third point, coaching and growth both are ecosystemic. They don't thrive in isolation. It is very difficult for an individual to grow alone without growth for those stakeholders around him or her. And so is the case with coaching. It's very important for this conclave not to be managed in isolation, which is why in design and its delivery and its offering, we have tried to co-create. There are not just coaches or even ICF coaches who have come in trying to put this together. We have people from different walks of life coming in, supporting us to design and to deliver. And even as we sit here today, there are more than 50 people who are working behind the scenes. We can't see them, but we can feel them. This is a right opportunity for me to salute and thank all these partners, not because partners need to be thanked in a conclave, because this conclave is going to talk and is allowing us a perspective that partnerships truly create possibilities. Whether it is any of our partners who've come in, helped us, it's our sponsors who have been so generous with their support. These partnerships have created possibilities, which you will see in the next 3 days of the conclave. Different possibilities. You'll be spoiled for choice. That's all great. But I believe that the more we go into this, there are more questions. These are the questions that will lead us to inspiration and intuitive exploration. Some of the questions that I'm again throwing back to us, back to you, back to me, and reflecting on is, what is the larger system expecting from this conclave? Is it yet another conclave? What do we want? What is the system outside expecting this conclave to deliver? What is the purpose of this conclave? What difference will this conclave make? Is it just coming together, learning something and walk away? Or is it going to facilitate the theme of growth for each one of us attendees? To answer these questions, I'm now going to offer something to you.
Coaching is all about helping individuals change in the way they wish and also help them get into the direction they want to go. Coaching is all about unlocking their potential to maximize their performance be it their personal or professional life.
Coaching is helping a person to change the way they wish or helping them to go in the direction that they want to go. It's a process of learning rather than teaching.
Coaching to me is an ideology, a mindset, a way of being. Imagine a world where all conversations, internal and external, are based upon the principles of coaching. A safe space which guarantees presence, unconditional positive regard, suspension of judgment, active listening, and brings out the best version of ourselves.
Coaching is a magnificent process of knowing about my own self. It's a journey where I learn more about myself, identify my own blind spots, increase my resilience meter by working on my own self-limiting beliefs and inadequacies. It's a beautiful process and it makes me a better person day by day.
Coaching, to my mind, is one of the most powerful and possibly the only inside-out transformation enabler where a coach partners with a client to unleash full potential professionally and personally through a reflective, creative, and a thought-provoking process. Every human being has a fundamental right to be coached because all of us deserve to be our best selves, don't we?
Growth for me means learning something new which is implementable every day.
Growth, according to me, is perseverance in times of difficulties. Thank you.
Growth to me is moving forward, physically, mentally, personally, and professionally.
Growth அப்படினா என்ன பொறுத்தவரைக்கும் there are two things. One is professional growth and personal growth. Professional growth அப்படினா taking teaching as a profession, both academic and research wise we should succeed. That is professional growth. And personal growth அப்படினா pursuing the passion along with balance between the work and family and the passion to be pursued.
Progress to me means self-development, ignoring petty things and working on higher goals.
To me, change is more than an inevitability. It's a necessity. It's something that signifies positive learning.
Growth is about doing things that you've never done before without the fear of failing. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone. Most of the growth comes from learning. In the last 15 months, where our work lives have largely been delivered in boxes called rooms, to me, growth is about not wanting to be the smartest person in the room always.
The Coaching for Growth Conclave is a wonderful platform for anybody who's on a journey of self-discovery and growth. It's a learning, a sharing, and a platform for collaborating with the coaching fraternity and community in India and around the world.
ICF India Conclave 2021 is a virtual global celebration and manifestation of the power of coaching for growth.
This conclave is all about growing coaches in India and globally, and also coaches growing in the areas of ITOS.
An expose of all the possible amazing minds who are thinking of using coaching as the tool that can make a difference to this world and help you lead a life of full potential.
ICF India Conclave 2021, Coaching for Growth. To me, it's about encouragement to any and all individuals, enlightenment for teams, embankment for organizations, and energizer for systems of people development.
With coaching and growth at the heart of the event, ICF India Conclave is all about your growth journey and your success story.
Thank you so much. And I knew technology would throw a spanner in the works, but we grow past that. So this itself is a learning experience, and to tell all of us that's okay, in the next 3 days there will be such glitches, but we will move past and we will go through it and grow through it. So I am pretty much at the end of my address. Thank you for bearing with me. A big thanks to each one of these coaches and non-coaches and everyone else who came in together at such a short notice to help us put together this authentic expression of coaching, growth, and coaching for growth. And I am going to end with some more questions to all of you, and I leave you with this. As you navigate through the next 3 days and 43 sessions, making your choice, ask yourself these questions. What does growth really mean to you? Not what you listen to the speakers, but what does it really mean to you? After learning a lot about coaching and the possibilities, could coaching really help you in your growth journey? In what way? Coaches, this one is for you. What will it take to truly be a growth partner for your clients? Not just any partner, but a growth partner. And what does it really mean to grow as a coach? Because coaches need growth too. Finally, my invitation to every single participant here when you leave this conclave. What will make your contribution as a coach, as a professional, as a human being count in terms of societal growth? On that note, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience and your encouragement and simply being present here today. Thank you.
EMC, hi, I think you're on mute. You might have to unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry, it went on as it is. Thank you, Vijayalakshmi. It's a path-breaking direction, signifying growth for all and achieving it through coaching and even going beyond that through embodiment. While Vijayalakshmi was giving her presentation, I was going through the chat boxes and the comments. We are overwhelmed by the wishes that you have given and the support. The chat itself, when you analyze it later on, if anyone does that, is an embodiment of the coaching culture. A lot of appreciation. I could see a lot of quest for learning, yearning for growth, and debating, discussing, not simply agreeing with whatever is going on. Super. Keep it coming. And I'm sure you will have enough opportunities in the 3 days of the conclave for all your ideas, all your variety of people to mix well in this cauldron and come out as better professionals, better coaches, better people at the end of the 3 days. That's my wish. Okay, let's move on. Now, friends, it's time for the much awaited keynote message from Sadhguru. Ranked amongst the 50 most influential people in India, Sadhguru is a yogi, a mystic, a visionary, and an NYT best-selling author. He has been conferred the Padma Vibhushan by the Government of India, accorded for exceptional and distinguished service. Over 30 years ago, Sadhguru founded the Isha Foundation, a non-profit human service organization, which has over 11 million volunteers across the world. Isha's programs have transformed the lives of millions of people, empowering them with tools for well-being derived from the science of yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to listen to Sadhguru in this video message.
Namaskaram to all of you who have come together for this International Coaching Federation of India Conclave 2021. My best wishes and blessings to every one of you who are there. In today's world, the pace at which every aspect of life is going, it's most important that those who have the necessary skills and experience, how quickly they transfer it and transmit it to the next level of people or the next generation of people is of vital importance. In this fast-moving world, it becomes very important that skills need to be imparted earlier than what it used to be before, quicker than what it used to be before, and fortunately we have the technological means to do that. But above all, having skills and capabilities is fine, but if we try to upgrade our activity without upgrading this human mechanism that we have, well, in some way we will break down. Today it is happening across the world that people who hold important positions and bear significant responsibilities are cracking up at various levels. Mental pandemic is spreading across the world, stress and anxiety is taking its toll upon people. Many levels of physiological and psychological breakdowns are happening. If we want our work to be an enriching process, if we want to make our life and work into a process of enhancement of who we are and reinforcing our ability to be, it's very, very important that we strengthen the inner mechanism. All of us should understand this one thing: if we believe what we are doing is very important, the first and foremost thing that you should do is you must work upon yourself. And in this context, inner engineering is a very important thing that everybody must do. If you are in the fast lane of life, if you have responsibilities to bear and you're doing something significant in the world, it's very, very important that you must be empowered from within. That is, you must be able to operate in the world in such a way, no matter what kind of situations you are put in, you are never the issue. Outside issues you can take on effortlessly and do it only when you are not the issue. Whenever you face difficult situations, if you are going to become an issue, your own stress, anxiety, fear becomes an issue, then your ability to handle outside issues has greatly diminished. So it's very, very important, those of you who hold responsible positions, those people that you are coaching for better performance, the most important thing is your inner well-being is taken care of, that you arrive at a space within you, that your equanimity is not mortgaged to external situations, you determine how you are. If you are able to determine how you are within yourself, what you do in the world can be endlessly enhanced throughout our life. Life will be a process of growth and work will be a process of joy, not stress and anxiety. This is something that we must bring into our workplaces for your individual well-being, for the well-being of the nation and for the well-being of the world. This is most important. Once again, my blessings and best wishes to all of you who are at the International Coaching Federation's Conclave. Namaskaram. At times like this, when you are not clear what is the way ahead, this is a time to work on our clarity, not inspiration. We need clarity. We must be able to see things which we did not see earlier. We must be able to decipher the situations as they are so that we can take the next few steps, maybe slowly, maybe cautiously, so that once things are clear, we can ramp it up. First thing is, we do not know what is the nature of this virus yet. We've only managed it by controlling human behavior. We don't know a thing about it. Every day scientists are coming with newer and newer observations about what this virus is, what it could do. So in terms of economics, in terms of business, we do not know how much damage it will cause, what kind of disruption it will bring about. Nobody has a clear estimate of what it is. As individual people, as leaders, as businesses, as the nation itself, and as institutions, every one of us have pain. We have to endure this. Now, normally pain with the hope that we will recover always creates an enormous amount of strength and well-being. It is just that our activity, our commerce, our way of functioning in the world, our lifestyle, how we educate people, how how we conduct almost everything could go through a major rejig. That is something we will have to really look at when situations like this confront us. This is the time, what is best in us, our intelligence, our innate genius, our resilience, our love for each other, everything, the best in us should come out at this time, because you got to be at your best to handle a situation like this. This is not a time for despair, this is not a time to be fearful, because these are all very debilitating emotions. When somebody is in fear or anxiety, they get crippled within themselves. So this is not a time to cripple ourselves, this is a time to remain at our best, because the best that we have may not be good enough if things go beyond a certain point. So we have to be at our best to somehow come on top of this situation, that is what is needed. So it is very important that leaders, people whose lives are such that what they think, what they feel, how they act in the world impact millions of people around them. When such a privilege has been placed in our hands, it is very important that we focus on upgrading ourselves all the time, because this is a tremendous privilege that in our lives, you have come to a place where if you think right, million people will benefit, if you think wrong, million people will suffer. When such a privilege is placed in your hands, you must always see how to keep yourself at your best, at your absolute best, because it's no more about yourself, because everything that you do impacts a million people. So, having said that, are there no challenges? Yes, there is a serious challenge, but it is during challenging times the best of men have risen in this world. I'm sorry, best of men and women have risen in those times, because something in a human being doesn't want to be cowed down by a challenge. Initially, there is certain… because people are being shaken out of their comfort zones, there is fear, anxiety and certain amount of distress. But when the challenge really confronts us, that is when human beings will stand up and do the best they can and build the greatest possibilities. So I don't think this disruption is the end of the world, definitely not. Everybody's comparing this to a war. Well, if you want to see it as a war, at least nobody is bombing our homes. If we are careful, we will live through this. If we are conscious, we will live through this. Nobody is bombing our house, no soldiers in the street shooting at us. Well, it is a war, it's a very soft war, it's a virus, and fortunately, we are the carriers. If we behave responsibly, we can stop it. If we behave irresponsibly, it'll have a free run. So in many ways, this is a test of what sort of human beings we are. Let's come out and prove that we are really competent human beings, wonderful human beings, this is the time to prove it. See, every human being wants to be well. What is being well? We want to be healthy, we want to be happy, we want to be peaceful, and we want to function at our best, whatever that is, in whatever we are doing. Well, this can only happen if the controls are inside. That is, you are a self-start machine. That is, you wake up in the morning, you are joyful by your own nature, not because of something that's happening around you. If your happiness, your peace, your loving nature or your anything or even your competence is determined by what's happening around you, well, you will become very accidental in your existence. Anybody and everybody can determine how you will be. Once you leave it in the hands of other people, you being really well is a very questionable thing. Very questionable thing, and it'll be very accidental. Once we're accidental in our existence, becoming anxious is natural. Well, in the next few months or in the next 1 year, well, we are hoping it won't happen, but it is very much possible, everything that we know as stability could be upside down. It's very much possible. May not go that way, we are all striving to see it doesn't go that way, but in case it goes that way also, still we must be well, because we must understand this. Even during even a caveman, even he knew joy, he knew peace, he did not have an automobile, he did not have a home, he did not have a phone or a technology, but even he was joyful, peaceful, he was also stressful here and there, whatever. So I am saying, the situation in terms of human experience is the same, nothing changes. It is only external situations changing. See, today whatever we are used to, let us say a cell phone. When we were growing up, there was no phone and we lived quite well. Today if the phone goes missing, oof, it's finished It's almost like life is gone, all right? So, we get used to certain things and we think that is life. No, we must understand, we gather many things. What we gather should serve us, should not dominate us. That includes our body and our mind. Even this body we gathered over a period of time. Even the content of the mind we gathered over a period of time. Right now the problem is just this. People have lost the distinction between what is me and what is mine. What is me and what belongs to me. This distinction has been lost. If I can take the liberty of suggesting, there is a simple process called Isha Kriya. It is free downloadable, it's available on our app and everything. This is a simple process to bring a little distance between yourself and your accumulated body, yourself and the accumulation of the mind. Once there is a distance between you and your physiological process and your psychological process, believe me, this is the end of suffering, because there are only two kinds of suffering in human life, physical suffering and mental suffering. Do you know any other kind of suffering? There is no other kind of suffering. Once you bring a little bit of space between yourself and these two aspects of life, this is the end of suffering. You can manage your body and mind to the best of your ability, and you will manage the outside world once again to the best of your ability. Do we know everything as to what's going to happen around us in the next few months? We do not know. We do not even know what will happen around us in the next 4 minutes, actually that's a fact, all right? So, this virus is going to upturn many things, but this is better than World War II when they were bombing your house and they were shooting at you. This is better than that. If you remain little sensible, you can keep the virus away, and business and economic activity, we can see how to build back. We have built from nothing to here, right? From being a caveman, we've come here. What is the problem? If we take a few steps backward, we will again do it. See, as you know, constantly you're dealing with people, so you definitely know this and you see this. In United States, some of the studies say 70% of the people say they hate their work, not dislike their work, they hate their work. If you have to live with something for 5 days in a week that you absolutely hate, it must be a real torture, you know. To be with something or somebody that you hate constantly is the worst thing that you can do in your life. But unfortunately, 70% of the people seem to be doing that. So that is why this whole culture of thank God it's Friday. But now it is Friday for 6 weeks, and what is it that people are complaining about? Now they realize the problem was not work, problem is family. No, problem is not family, problem is not work, problem is the state of your own mind. So if you're at work, you think it's work that is causing stress to you. If you're at home, you think it's home that's causing stress to you. Let us fire you from both the places. You get fired from your job, you get fired from your home. Be just outside and be joyful. You think it'll happen? So the problem is that we have not done anything in our education systems, the way societies are bringing up their children, we have done nothing about the inner well-being of the human being. When I say inner well-being, there are many dimensions to this. The simplest surface is just this: your body and your mind should work for you always. What you're calling as anxiety, misery, tension is your own intelligence working against you. Your psychological work, the works that you have in the form of your psychological drama is playing against you. It's your drama, you're supposed to direct it. But just about anything is happening because this has become a very a compulsive reaction to life. This is not a conscious way of living. So this is if one is interested in long term, we must see first of all how to engineer ourselves to be fit enough to live in this world. Right now we can complain about the world. Suppose we roll back 10,000 years for you and you're living in a jungle and every day you have to hunt and get some animal. Today all the animals are faster than you and nothing happened. Again you'll be stressed. At least now once a month you're getting a salary or whatever, but you're stressed for that. Now you may lose your job, you're stressed for that. I'm saying forever we have lived for thousands of years without a job and we did well even then. But those who were stressful and miserable, they were. Those who were joyful and well, they were. The difference is only, did you manage yourself well or not? We will try to manage the outside situations to the best of our ability. No two human beings can manage the outside to the same extent. How you manage things, I may not be able to do. How I manage things in the world, you may not be able to do, because this is a question of many forces are involved in managing the outside situation. There is no magic wand for that. But how we manage our interiority, this science is completely missing. It is for this reason that we are trying to push this into everybody's lives, this inner engineering. At their own homes they can go through, because if you just manage your psychological, emotional and physiological responses to what's happening around you well, you will see living here peacefully and joyfully is not a problem. Being successful in the world is another matter. To put this in a certain context, see, if I ask any human being, do you want to be healthy? Of course they want to be healthy. What does health mean? Pleasantness on the level of body. Body is pleasant, this is called health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call this pleasure. If mind is pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call this compassion. If our very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If our surroundings become pleasant, we call this success. Only to create pleasantness in our surroundings, we need the cooperation of many forces around us. But to create the pleasantness of body, pleasantness of mind, emotion and energy, it is 100% our business. The problem is just this, that we have been given the most sophisticated machine on the planet. This human mechanism is the most sophisticated technology on the planet. I'm sure you agree with me on that one. But have you read the user's manual? Such a sophisticated machine, people are trying to blunder through without even paying basic attention to how it functions. This is the basis of human suffering, not coronavirus, not job loss, not this, not that. The basic suffering is we have not even looked at the user's manual of how to manage this machine. Not only in times like this, in any time, the only one thing that you have to do well is you conduct this life really well. When I say this life, I'm not talking about just this body, this personality, whatever we need, not like that. This life, if you conduct it really well, you will conduct everything absolutely well. Because the moment you experience yourself beyond the limitations of the identities that you've taken on, as well, identities start in many ways, maybe of race, religion, nationality, communities, caste, creed, gender, our own physical body, our thoughts, emotions, our ideologies, philosophies, whatever else we believe in and disbelieve in. If you go beyond that and touch the basic life process, in this there is an all-inclusive nature. In your very breath, it is telling you, what you exhale, the trees are inhaling, what they exhale, you're inhaling. The very life process is inclusive. So if you conduct this life properly, really well, believe me, you will use everything that you have to your fullest. That means your physical prowess, your mental prowess, your emotional prowess, your energy strength that you have, you will do the best that you can do. And as human beings, this is all we can do, that in our lives, if we do not do what we cannot do, there is no problem. But in our lives, if we do not do what we can do, we are a disastrous life. So our only goal is that we do not become a disastrous life. Everything that we can do, we have done. What we cannot do, that's how it is, all right? So if we have to do everything that we can do, you should never be an issue in your life. This one thing everybody must do. You are not the issue. There are 1,000 issues in our life. In your life circumstances, if there are no issues, it simply means you're not doing a thing in your life. If you're doing a lot of things, there are lots of issues every day, but you are never the issue. This one thing, if you make sure that you are not the issue, you will become part of the solution wherever you go. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Sadhguru, for the thought-provoking address, wishes and blessings. Your address raises several questions within ourselves. Friends, I want to share a thought with you. When children play on a riverbed filled with pebbles, each child picks up different pebbles, each valuing their own choice and being happy about it. Similarly, I, like one such child, have picked up some pebbles from the riverbed of Sadhguru's message. My pebbles are the following questions. Am I the issue? Am I learning earlier and quicker? How well have I understood my own human mechanism? How well tuned is my inner engineering? Like me, I'm sure you have collected your pebbles and are asking several questions. And looking for answers, I'm again asking how coaching can help resolve these questions and more questions. I'm sure we can find answers in the next 3 days in this conclave, over 43 sessions featuring 80+ speakers. On that note, I would like to thank those who are present here from the Middle East to the Southeast, that is, Qatar, Dubai to Indonesia and all across India for having been with us. And on that note, I invite my co-host, Sri, to take you through the musical extravaganza that follows. I'm sure listening to it would be pleasant and it would end up being pleasurable. That's a goodbye from me, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you, Sri.
Thank you, PMC. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to have all of you in this conclave. Our next guest is Mr. Raghavan Manian, an accomplished musician and a technocrat. With degrees from IIT Madras, University of Virginia, and ISB Hyderabad, Raghavan started his journey in music at a very tender age of 7 under his guru and aunt, Tenkasi P.K. Rajammal. He is also the disciple of Padma Vibhushan, late Sri Dr. Balamurli Krishna. Some of his accolades are that he won the coveted CCERT Senior Scholarship for Musical Training at the age of 15, performing at the Indian Parliamentary House along with his Guruji Padma Vibhushan late Sri Balamurli Krishna and Pandit Hariprasad Chaurasia. He received the Dr. Balamurli Krishna Award for Musical Excellence, and he has been a guest lecturer in Indian music at the University of Virginia and Stanford University. Accompanying Raghavan today is Sarthak Dev on the keyboard. Sarthak is an accomplished and sought after Western classical pianist and composer whose practice traverses genres. He works at Fresh Desk and is also an avid sport enthusiast and a successful columnist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Raghavan and Sarthak for a music filled hour.
Thank you very much, Shri, for that kind introduction. I know that the previous speaker filled you with a lot of insight and left you with a lot of questions to answer. It's my earnest hope that the next hour or so will provide you with some fuel from another dimension, that is in the dimension of sound, with which you may be able to process some of those questions and challenges, and also just kick back and put yourself in the mood for a lot of learning that lies ahead of you. I want to just give you a very brief introduction on how the set is going to be for the day. As you know, traditional Indian music is a very old art form. And as all ancient traditions go, it has been invented and reinvented very many times over the last millennia. Now we are at a cusp of a very interesting time in music, in general in everything, but specifically the access to music, whether it is good or bad, is so ubiquitous. Whether it is, music from where you live, the micro society that you live in, or globally, whatever genre pleases you, you can find so much good music that you do not know at some point, which is interesting, which is not, which is insightful, which is authentic. My personal journey has taken me through very different soundscapes, but I've always been centered in the Indian classical idiom, specifically the Southern Indian Carnatic idiom, while at the same time freely taking in influences from wherever I went, whether it was physically or whether it was auditorily. So this openness to influence, I think, has created a spirit of inquiry and innovation. And more importantly, like once Calvin and Hobbes, Calvin is talking to his imaginary tiger, and he's telling Hobbes, have you heard of people who come up with one or two great insights in their lives? And Hobbes says, yeah. And Calvin says, yeah, I get 7 or 8 of those every day. I feel the same way about myself. And the reason is that I think mentally I'm still 7 years old. And B, I think it's music. Music as a system is actually a very wonderful and fulfilling pursuit for those who have interest in music. You would agree with me. And the actual practice of music is very, very insightful because it has a backbone of mathematics and a readily available source of feedback and leading to satisfaction. So it is an instant gratification which feeds on many, many years of hard work. So with this sort of a very self-gratifying experience that music provides. In addition, I have the pleasure of also gratifying others. And in the course of the set, I would invite you to just think of, one or two key things while I present the music. At the very start of the set, I want you to think of the question of identity. In Indian music, musical identity rests on the concept of a raga. These are, at its very simplest form, a set of melodic notes, that are strung together to produce melodies, no different from modes and scales from other musical traditions. In addition, Indian belief system is very strongly woven into this ragas, to the point where the ragas are anthropomorphized. They have personalities, they have effects on the mind, effects on the body, and they have times when they are sung. There are traditions, there are do's and there are don'ts, and so we have created an entire edifice and erected very immense structures, all based on this idea of a raga. Now, identity is what the notes provide the raga. Now, when does a raga become another raga? Is equivalent to saying, at what point do the changes you make to the notes and the way the notes are intertwined with each other, do you start feeling the change in the melodic outcome that you are personally subjecting to? This is the question of identity in music, in raga exploration. And of course, I welcome you to extend this metaphor into the wonderful work that you all do as mentors and coaches. So without too much further ado, I'm going to begin my set with the question of identity in the raga Kalyani. सललितरागसुधारस सललितरागसुधारससारं 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 सर्वकलामय नाट्यविलासम् सर्वकलामय नाट्यविलासं सललितराग सुधारस सललितराग सुधारससारं सललितराग सुधारस मञ्जुळसौरभ मञ्जुळसौरभ सुमकुञ्जमुला मञ्जुळसौरभ सुमकुञ्जमुला रञ्जिल्लु मधुकर मृदुझङ्कारं रञ्जिल्लु मधुकर मृदुझङ्कारं सललितराग सुधारस सारं कल्पनलो ఊహించిన హోయలు ఓ కల్పనలో ఊహించిన హోయలు శిల్పమనోహర రూపమునుంది పదకరణమూల మృదుభంగిమల ముదమానలయ మీరు నటనాల సాగే సలలితరాగ సుధారస సారం సర్వకళామయ నాట్య విలాసం సలలితరాగ సుధారస సారం रंजिश ही सही, रंजिश ही सही, दिल ही दुखाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही, दिल ही दुखाने के लिए फिर से मुझे छोड़ के जाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही, दिल ही दिखाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही, फिर से मुझे छोड़ के जाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही। पहले से मरासिम न सही, फिर भी कभी तो पहले से मरासिम न सही, फिर भी कभी तो रस्म आहे दुनिया ही निभाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही, रस्म हो रहे दुनिया ही निभाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही। किस किस को बताएंगे जुदाई का सबब हम, किस किस को बताएंगे जुदाई का सबब हम। तू मुझसे खफा है तो जमाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही, दिल ही दुखाने के लिए फिर से मुझे छोड़ से जाने के लिए रंजिश ही सही। ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी, ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी, एकाम्रेश्वर सखी त्राहि मां, ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी। धूम्रलोचन भञ्जनी, धूम्रलोचन भञ्जनी, अखिल साम्राज्य संरक्षणी, सदा ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी, एकाम्रेश्वर सखी त्राहि मां, ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी। गरि गरि सदा निधि गमद दब दम गम रे गम बदनि सदा निनि स निनि स निनि स नि स नि स नि स नि द प म द द नि नि ग नि नि ग ग रि नि द प म ग नि नि द प म ग रि नि रि नि ग रि म ग द म नि द रि नि ग रि म ग रि स नि नि प द द नि रि स नि स नि स नि रि नि स नि रि नि स नि रि नि स नि रि नि स नि ग रि स नि रि स द ग रि स द रि स द स द द द ग मगरि सनि द प म ग म प द नि स रि ग म प ग रि स नि ग रि ग स रि नि स रि नि स द नि प द म प ग म रि ग स रि स ग रि म ग प म द प नि द स नि रि स ग रि म ग रि स नि स ग रि स नि रि स नि द ध नि द स नि द ध नि द रि स नि द प म ग म प द नि स द ग म प द नि स द ग म प द नि स द नि ताम्रलोचनी लतांगी। प्रविशराधे माधव समीपमिक मंगल शतानि कुरु मुरारे मुरारे प्रविशराधे विदित पद्मावती सुख समाजे विदित पद्मावती सुख समाजे बनति जय देव कवि बनति जय देव कवि राज राजे मुरारे मुरारे प्रविश राधे माधव समीपमिह मङ्गलशतानि कुरु मुरारे मुरारे प्रविश राधे प्रविश राधे नीलूपराणि मोहमायिनी लूपराणि मोहमायिनी सरिनि सनि దని దప మప దని దప దప మప మగ మప దని సని గరి గ సరి ని స రి సరి ని స దని సని దప మగ మప ద ని గరి ని లూపరాణి రి దగరి సని పదని సరి సా రి దగరి సని పదని సరి సా సని దప మగ మపద మపదని పదని సరి సని దని సని దప మగ మపద పని ద దని సరి రి గ మగరి సని రి సని ద సని దప ని దప మగ మపదని లూపరాణి మోహమాయిని లూపరాణి మోహమాయిని. That was Identity, based on Raga Kalyani and its beautiful and intriguing neighbors. How many of those neighbors were you able to identify? Well, each one of those neighbors came to be by one small modification in the structure of Kalyani. How many such modifications does it take before you know that we are in a slightly different system? The first variant was Yamuna Kalyani, sometimes known as Yaman Kalyan, which is simply an addition of a note. The second one, and that was the lovely ghazal Ranjishi Sahi. The second was Latangi, which is a darker version with a flat sixth Latangi, Tamra Lochani Latangi. The third variant was a beautiful raga called Kosalam, which has elements of such disparate ragas as Mand and even the jazz scales, some of the jazz scales. And that was Kosalam. The composition was that of Jayadeva, Pravisha Radhe. And the final piece was back home, back to Kalyani, finishing off with the traditional Varnam, the end game of the Varnam, known as the Charana and the Muktaiswara and the Chittaswaras. Vanajakshi. So that was the tour and a question of identity. Now we move on to something a little different. That was a song about division and why do we even need it? War, Why do we need it? Hatred. Do we really need it? Of course, the resounding answer that probably emanates very beautifully from the music is no. That was us and them. The third item I have for you is simply called space. And by space, I mean the study of structural space in the context of music. In Western musical theory, at least in the middle and medieval and later the classical ages, the note, the fourth sharp note, was called the devil's note. And it was not exactly a welcome note for many reasons, some technical, some based on a belief that it is something unwelcome. This devil's note is what makes some of our most beautiful ragas divine. So I like to call it the divine note. And the note, the fourth sharp, perfectly balances the scale into two equal tetrachords, two equal halves, the low and the high, if you want to extend it into more concepts, yin and the yang, maybe, or the sky and the earth. In this raga, we bring the fourth sharp note into focus through a series of short expositions, starting from a traditional Devaranama, a song in the Kannada language, and going on to certain very short takes on popular instrumental pieces from the movies. ಈ ಪರಿಯ ಸೊಬಗು ಇನ್ನಾವ ದೇವದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣೆ ಈ ಪರಿಯ ಸೊಬಗು ಇನ್ನಾವ ದೇವದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣೆ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನ ಪ್ರಿಯ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಗಲ್ಲದೆ ಈ ಪರಿಯ ಸೊಬಗು ಇನ್ನಾವ ದೇವದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣೆ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನಪ್ರಿಯ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಗಲ್ಲರೇ ಪಾವನ ಧ್ವಲಿ ನೋಡೆ ಅಮರ ಗಂಗಾ ಜನಕ ದೇವತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೆ ದಿವಿಜರೊಡೆಯ ಲಾವಣ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೆ ಲೋಹ ಮೋಹಕನಯ್ಯ ಅವಧೈರ್ಯಲಿ ನೋಡೆ ಅಸುರಾಂತಕ ಈ ಸೊಬಗು ಇನ್ನಾವದೇ ಬದರಿ ಕಾಣಿ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನಪ್ರಿಯ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಗಲ್ಲರೇ ಗಗನದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಂಚರಿಪ ಗರುಡ ದೇವನೇ ಸೊಬಗು ಜಗದೀಧರ ಶೇಷ ಪರ್ಯಂಕ ಶಯನ ನಿಗಮ ಘೋಷರ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ಗಲ್ಲದೆ ನಿಗಿಲಾದ ದೇವ ಎನಗೆ ಭಾಗ್ಯನುಂಡೆ ಈ ಪರಿಯ ಸೊಬಗು ಇನ್ನಾವ ದೇವದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಣೆ ಗೋಪಿ ಜನಪ್ರಿಯ ಗೋಪಾಲ ಗಲ್ಲರೇ After that raga, variously known as Sohini in the North Indian system and Hamsanandi in the Southern system, where I gave you a glimpse of 3 very popular songs from the yesteryears. The first, a Kannada song, E Pariya Sobagu by Purandradasa. The second, Kuhu Kuhu Koyali, a very well-known oldie from Bollywood. And the third one was Vedam Anu Anuvuna Nadam, a Ilayaraja composition. And that is the appeal of Hamsanandi, the union of the two tetrachords, the middle of representation of space through raga. The next is all about travel, which in turn is all about the return to home. Because what is travel except stepping outside of home with the hope, whether we realize it or not, to return home? And this all happens in the framework of time. So this is broadly titled Time, but it's about travel. You may recognize a few of these words. Friends, I'm a traveler. I don't have a house or a place. I have to keep moving. I simply have to keep moving. And that is the message in this Bollywood gem that I'm going to open this piece, this set, based on the widely used raga Jinjoti, sometimes as a pahadi, sometimes as a classical number. But Jinjoti is everywhere in India. Therefore, Jinjoti is the traveler. Jinjoti does not have a house. Jinjoti has to keep moving. And we will find this urge to traverse space and traverse time in this raga. Jinjoti. बांसुरी की धुन के लागे, बांसुरी की धुन के लागे, तान तनन तोम तनो, बांसुरी की धुन के लागे, तान तनन तोम तनो, बाजे ताल मृदंग की धुन, बाजे ताल मृदंग की धुन, ध्रुकुटत कीटतक ध्रुकुटक तो माज आई, आज आई, आज आई श्याम मोहन रास मंडल खेलने, आज आई, आज आई श्याम मोहन. That's it. Had a couple of numbers that some of you may have recognized. And Sriram's here. Sriram? Do I have
Thank
time
you
for
so much, Raghavan.
one or two
Yeah,
more?
please, we can have one or two more. We are all waiting for you to do a few sax songs and a few more of these. There's a request for some sax since you are using the saxophone. So, if it is possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
You good? Yeah. Good. I see trees of green, red roses too. See them bloom for me and you. Think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night. Think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, so on the faces of people going by. See friends shaking hands, say, how do you do? Really say, I love you. I hear babies cry, watch them grow. They learn so much more than I'll ever know. I think to myself, Say to myself, what a wonderful world. I have a request.
Raghavan, sorry, you might have to pick up the saxophone once more. We have a request for some jazz music, if possible.
I have another one that I'll for service.
Great. Thank you.
Somebody wanted Chinnakannan. Vijay wanted Chinnakannan. So let me do that first.
Thank you, Raghavan.
There's a Tamil song in the raga Riti Gaula. Chinnakannan அழைக்கிறார், சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், ராதையை பூங்கோதையை அவள் மனம் கொண்ட ரகசிய ராகத்தில் பாடி சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், ராதையை பூங்கோதையை அவள் மனம் கொண்ட ரகசிய ராகத்தில் பாடி சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார். கண்கள் சொல்கின்ற கவிதை இளவயதில் எத்தனை கோடி எந்தம் காதலை கொண்டாடும் காவியமே, அழகே இளமை ரதமே, உந்தன் மயக்கத்தில் இணைவது இளமைக்கு பெருமை, சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார். நெஞ்சில் உள்ளாடும் ராகம் இதுதானா கண்மணி ராதா, நெஞ்சில் உள்ளாடும் ராகம் இதுதானா கண்மணி ராதா, என்றும் காதலை கொண்டாடும் காவியமே, புதுமை மலரும் இனிமை, அந்த மயக்கத்தில் இணைவது இளமைக்கு பெருமை, சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், ராதையை பூங்கோதையை அவள் மனம் கொண்ட ரகசிய ராகத்தில் பாடி சின்னக்கண்ணன் அழைக்கிறார், சின்னக்கண்ணன். I have a request that was generically for jazz music. I do have one in my set that I would like to go through just for completeness, which I have titled Union. And let me see if I can also, as we say in Tamil, pundufais some jazz into it. This is an idea around the raga Brindaban Sarang. Now this Brindavana, the forest of tulsi leaves. Tulsi leaves and the forest of tulsi leaves immediately comes, reminds us of the divine flutist Krishna. So that's where the sarang comes in, sarangadhara, or sara, the essence of Brindavana is in that boy who wields the flute. And there are many songs invoking this imagery of the divine union, of flute with flautist, of earth with sky, of God with human. And I will cover a few of them in this set. I hope you like it. Srirangamangalanidhim Karunanivasam Shri Venkatadri Shikaralaya Kalameham Shri Hastasaila Shikarojvala Parijatam Shri Shamnamami Sirasa Yadushela Deepam Rangapura Vihara Shri Rangapura Vihara Jaya Kodalda Ramavatar Raghuvira Sriranga Puravihara Jaya Kodalda Ramavatar Raghuvira Sriranga Puravihara मुनि संकट हरण गोविंद वेंकटरमण मुकुंद मुनि संकट हरण गोविंद वेंकटरमण मुकुंद संकाक्षर मूलकंद शंकर गुरु गुहानंद रंग पुर विहारा जय कोदंडरामावतार रघुवीर श्रीरंग पुर विहारा nanana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 nana dim nana tadikita tom takita jam ta jam ta jam ta jam tarita jam tarita jam tarita nadrdim nana dim nana tadikita tom takita jam ta jam ta jam ta jam tarita jam tarita jam tarita nadrdim nana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 sogasulura hoyelu korini dariche ridini nirakshira న్యాయమై మై మరచి సకల చరాచరమెల్ల పులకించితీయని హాయనిపించు చిరురవళిని మురళి మాధురి నాదృదీం ననా దీం ననా తదికిట తొంతకిట జం త జం త జం త జం తరిత జం తరిత జం తరిత నాదృదీం ననా తదికిట తొంతకిట జం త జం త జం త జం తరిత జం తరిత జం తరిత నాదృదీం ననన తిలన తిలన నాదృదీం nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim dim nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim dim nadrdim 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 nanana tililana tilana nadrdim dim nadrdim 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 श्रीमते रम्यजामात्र मुनीन्द्राय महात्मने श्रीरङ्गवासिने भूय नित्यश्री नित्यमङ्गलम्. Thank you.
Wow, Raghavan, you really rocked. Not only was it blissful music, Raghavan, but a lot of learning that went into as well.
Thank you so much.
Folks, please give it up for Raghavan and Sarthak for a wonderful music that they played for us.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Vijay, would you like to say a few words?
Words are failing me now. Totally mesmerized. I want to just say thank you, Raghavan. Thank you, Sarthak.
Thank you.
When we did approach you, if you could do this for us, I knew you would agree because you're such a kind soul. But today, the screen is just filled with hearts and, fanboy moments, fangirl moments all here, right? So absolutely mesmerizing. And I think we could not have asked for a better start to our conclave. I certainly feel ready for a lot of learning. I feel extremely grounded. And Raghavan, if I may say this, right, I think you embody coaching presence. You just, that's something all of us coaches train for years together. You both were just so present, so much at ease. Thank you, Raghavan. This is a personal thanks as well for supporting our course. As you know, we are running this conclave pro bono. We want people from different walks of life to come. We want them to understand the power of coaching, to explore growth. As we say, it's for everyone. And I think your music has today just connected so many dots for us. Thank you, Raghavan.
Wonderful to hear. I want to specially thank Sarthak to begin with, because it happened very quickly that we got together, and we have worked in sets before. As you can see, he's extremely adaptable and extremely fluid, a musician and talented. I want to thank all of you in ICF, especially you, Vijay, and to Sriram. Thanks for the very efficient, very quick setup with the sounds and the quick checks amidst everything, amidst all the great speakers. I saw the list of speakers that you have, and my jaw dropped. And to have Music, first of all, live music in this time is very, very welcome, a shot in the arm for me and for all musicians out there. We try our best, and whatever we get, it is Guru Kripa. And in the end, celebrating coaches is celebrating our guru, our gurus. And if there is one such guru, then we celebrate him or her or it. This is one way to do it, is to invoke our tradition, invoke our music, the divinity within and the divinity without. And really, really appreciate you for giving us both the opportunity. Thanks so much.
We hope to see you back very soon. And by the way, you are also listed as a speaker in our conclave.
Oh, that helped me put my jaw right back in.
Next
Thank
time
you.
we may drag you to give a speech or something, but I think this was like you've put, you've given all the speakers goals. Okay, so
Thank you. I'm glad.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you, Raghavan, once more for a wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you, Sarthak. You've been a great support as well. So with that, folks, we are coming to a close for the evening. But before we wind up, let me just take time to thank our sponsors and partners who have actually helped us in this journey. Our gold sponsors, Beckett McEnroy and Saint Gobain. Silver sponsors, Regal Unlimited and Simply Coach. Coach Friends of the Conclave, marketing communication partners, assessment partners, coaching resources, pro bono coaching partners, and training partners. And last but not the least, all of you folks who have been with us for the last 2.5 hours. Thank you all. Thank you so much. And before we wind up for the evening, folks, please remember to log in tomorrow morning at 9 sharp. We start our conclave with a really exciting session which will kickstart and take it forward. That's all, folks. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely night. Good night.